Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here, your source for gaming, tech, emulation, and open source news. Let's get started. Alright, to kick things off, we're talking about something that I would say is pretty exciting. We're talking about Mario Party 4 on the GameCube, and it turns out that Mario Party 4 has been decompiled. This is huge from a GameCube point of view. Now, if you are curious about this one and wanted to learn more about it, Matt Casey Bites has a very detailed YouTube video and I do recommend checking it out. Like everything we talk about, links are in the description below right at the bottom. I don't hide my sources. And I would say this is extremely exciting for a number of different reasons. One of those being the fact that GameCube games are now being decompiled, and the second here is because the GameCube has an amazing library. Now, I'm not going to lie here, I am very curious to see what happens in the whole GameCube decompilation scene moving forward. I mean, this, I would argue, is huge for the scene. We've seen huge strides in the N64 decompilation, recompilation scene recently, and I'm wondering if any of that's going to translate over to the GameCube scene as well. And on a side note here, I have seen some people wonder about the whole legality aspect of decompilation and recompilation, and from my understanding, these things are absolutely fine. I mean, they say right here, the repository does not contain any game assets or assembly whatsoever. It does require an existing copy of the game. And I think, and I'm not a legal expert though, but I think that this stuff is absolutely fine. And that's why projects like Ship of Arcinian and To Ship to Arcinian and even more are still absolutely fine and still up and available. Next up, we're talking about the Elder Scrolls Oblivion Remastered. Now, we've been talking about this game quite a bit as it kind of took the gaming world by storm when it was shadow dropped. And I say shadow dropped in quotes because this was kind of one of the gaming world's worst kept secrets. So much stuff about this game had leaked, we all knew it was coming. It was just a matter of when as opposed to if. Anyways, here, we've talked about this game a lot on PC due to modding and the overall PC experience. But it seems the console experience is leaving a lot to be desired. It seems performance is not that optimized. If you are curious about this one, Digital Foundry has just put out a brand new video titled Oblivion Remastered Revisited. All consoles have big problems, and they tested out the PS5 and PS5 Pro and the Xbox. And yeah, looking at this, looking at the frame rates here, if these are the correct frame rates, this is a little bit underwhelming. Now, taking a look at the comments here, and I'm not surprised with any of them, and here are some of the top ones. The game running worse the longer you play it is just like the PS3. How nostalgic. Bethesda checklist for release approval. Stutters, check. Judder, check. Memory leaks, check. Bugs, check. Crashes, check. This suggests a memory management issue. Oblivion fans, nostalgia. Now, I'm assuming here at some point in time, Bethesda will be releasing a patch to help optimize things on consoles, but who knows? I think this comment here sums things up very well. It runs fine for me equals runs badly, but I don't care. And given the game's popularity, even the popularity on consoles, I'm assuming a lot of people don't care and they're still playing the game. But let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below. Have you played The Elder Scrolls Oblivion Remastered on console, and what has your experience been like? And what has your experience been like the longer you've played it? I am very curious to know here. On PC, it seems to be okay. And speaking about okay, next up we're talking about No Rest for the Wicked and Moon Studios. And according to Moon Studios might not be okay. So here's the message that seems to be sparking quite a bit of confusion and conversation, and it appears to be a Discord message from the co-founder and CEO of Moon Studios. And they say here, I think people think I'm joking when I'm asking for positive reviews, because in people's minds there's always some big publisher in the background who will cover costs. Folks, if you're writing here and are enjoying Wicked and are excited for future updates, but haven't left a positive review, it's entirely possible that we won't be around in a couple of months to do anything anymore, simply because we got review bombed, which leads to people not buying the game, which means we're not making any money and we'll have to shut down. They then say in the last paragraph here, I wouldn't ask if our business wouldn't be dependent on it. I also never write reviews on anything, but if you want to see us actually finish Wicked, it's detrimental, I don't know if that's the right word, that we get the review score back up. That is kind of crazy to me, given the fact that this game seems to be super popular. I mean, taking a look over on Steam for No Rest for the Wicked, and the game's got a mostly positive review score with over 34,000 reviews. That is a lot of reviews. I've seen a lot bigger games have far less reviews on Steam. And taking a look here over on SteamDB, and the all-time peak for people playing the game at the exact same time is over 36,000, with over 10,000 in the last 24 hours and over 7,000 right now at the time of filming. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm a bit confused by that statement, given the fact that No Rest for the Wicked right now is 148th overall on Steam. And you might say 148, well, that's not in the top 10. But at the same time here, there are a lot of games on Steam and a lot of very popular games. And being in the top 200 here for an early access game at that, I would say is amazing. I mean, it's beating some very big games out there. Here's even more stats. For the last 24 hours, No Rest for the Wicked is currently sitting in 161st place. They're above stuff like Kingdom Come Deliverance, EA Sports FC 24, Forza Horizon 4, and even more here. I mean, I don't know what's going on. I mean, I could be wrong and I could be way out in left field on this one, but based on what's written and what I'm seeing here in terms of stats, things are not really lining up. I don't know here, because the stats seem to be telling me that the game is doing pretty good, and the review bombing of sorts, or whatever the heck happened to it, doesn't really seem to be affecting it given its overall popularity. I mean, it's doing better than something like Tekken 8, and maybe that's not saying a whole lot, but it kind of is, because that's a huge game. Now, from my understanding, there have been some controversial statements coming out from the CEO or from Moon Studios or whatever here, but it doesn't really seem to be impacting the overall popularity of the game. So I don't know what's going on here. If you know more about this and have more information and insight into the entire situation, let me know in the comments below. Please keep it civil. It's just... it seems fine. And speaking about fine, next up we're talking about Virtua Fighter 5 REVO. This game was launched in January of this year. I would say it's far less popular than something like No Rest for the Wicked. You can even take a look at the Steam numbers to confirm if you'd like. Anyways, here, this game is confirmed to be coming to PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch. It was just announced for those consoles. Unfortunately, I don't have a release date just yet, but it will apparently be here cross-compatible, so cross-platform compatible with rollback netcode across all platforms. Now, I don't know about you, but this one is super interesting to me given the fact that Virtua Fighter 6 has already been teased, and I'm assuming that announcement is going to eat into the sales of Virtua Fighter 5. I don't know here, I could be wrong about that one. But anyways here, I think I said the Switch as well. I meant to say the Switch 2. This is headed to the Switch 2, not the original Switch, at least to my knowledge. But let me know your thoughts about Virtua Fighter 5 REVO. I would say the price point on this one is pretty attractive. In Canada, it's less than $30. Next up, we're shifting from gaming and talking about software, and we're talking about my favorite free and open source video editing software, and that is Shotcut. I use this software on the channel most of the time. Anyways, here, Shotcut just got a brand new update to version 25.05.11. If you're not into video editing, you probably don't care about this stuff, but if you are, Shotcut got some brand new features and some improvements. So as for some of the new features, they've added an alpha strobe video filter, they've added freeze frame to timeline, they've added adjustable track headers width to timeline, they've added an item count to the playlist, and even more, and there's a whole ton of bug fixes. If you use Shotcut, it's probably worth updating. Next up, we're switching from software to hardware and talking about the built-in mouse functionality in the Joy-Cons on the Switch 2. And Nintendo today has put out a brand new video to showcase the mouse in action. I would say it's not necessarily probably the most comfortable nor ideal, but at the same time here, I mean, it's a neat feature. I guess it can help you navigate the menus a little bit better, and I'm assuming there will be some games at some point in time to take advantage of this. My big question here, and let me know your thoughts about this one, how many people game where there's a nice surface to use a mouse? Not PC gaming, I mean, that's always ideal, but at the same time, how many people game on the Switch with a surface to use the mouse? I'm very curious about that, because normally when I'm using my Switch, I'm sitting on the couch with the gamepad in my hands, and it's definitely not an ideal place to be using a mouse. And speaking about switching, next up we're talking about a PS1 game that's headed to the Dreamcast unofficially, and that is It's looking very interesting with square wheels and all. This is an early look. I'm assuming it's going to get better. But at the same time, this is driver 2 from PS1 that someone is working to get working on the Dreamcast. They say here, the fact that it's over 2 FPS and everything isn't purple means that it's quite a bit further along than GTA 3 was at this stage. This is how all great ports start out. Let me know your thoughts about that one. I mean, GTA 3 was ported to the Dreamcast, and it looks really, really good on that console. It's still being worked on, but the port, in my opinion, is very impressive, and I'm hoping that this is going to be the same case. Next up here, we're talking about Raspberry Pi and Raspberry Pi Connect, and I think this is really awesome. Raspberry Pi Connect is now out of beta. If you remote into your Raspberry Pi, if you were thinking about it, well, this is really good news. Now, there are a number of ways to remote into your Raspberry Pi, but Raspberry Pi Connect does make it easy and right out of the box. And with version 2.5 that just dropped, they're removing beta. Now, with this update, removing beta was not the only thing they did. If you've been using Raspberry Pi Connect, you might be excited to know that with version 2.5, the Connect client now holds a single long-lived HTTP connection to a Raspberry Pi server. Now when you click on the Connect button on connect.raspberrypi.com, an event is broadcast to the device to wake it up and start the process of establishing a connection. And that may save on some data. As I said, version 2.5 is already out, and updating to it is simple and straightforward. And speaking about simple and straightforward, next up we're talking about Doom. And if you ever wanted to run Doom in a Favicon, you absolutely can now. All you have to do is access this website here, and again, links are in the description below. I will say, though, that it depends on your browser. It may not work in certain browsers. I know LibreWolf out of the box, it doesn't work very well at all. You may have to configure things within the browser to make this work, or just use a different one, try it out, and uninstall the browser. I don't know. It's up to you. Anyways, here it is working, and it uses a total of 136-ish megabytes of memory. This is super interesting. And speaking about Doom, next up is a friendly heads up here that Doom is in the process of being ported unofficially to the Atari ST. We've talked about this one in a previous video. It is currently a work in progress, and the hardware is accelerated, so it's not running on stock hardware yet. But the developer is working on it to get it to a point where it may. I'm curious to see if they do. Either way here, I think this is pretty impressive. And speaking about impressive, last up here, we're talking about the Mr. Pi and RetroArch. This is very weird, but it's working. Take Udon says, this is super cursed, but I ported RetroArch to the Mr. Pi to see how fast, slow Street Fighter Third Strike would run. And it is working. It's working a lot better than what I would have expected. Now, for those of you wondering why this is super weird and, well, as Take says, cursed, or super cursed, it's because it's FPGA running an emulator, which seems a little bit redundant. Anyways, here, I'm glad he did it. I'm glad the experiment turned out well. The game's running at 60 frames per second. I don't know what else to say. It's very weird. Now, I'm not going to lie here. I'm kind of curious to see how other systems would run. I mean, Take Udon's got some ROMs listed here as well for the Game Boy. Link's Awakening, Pokemon Blue, and Donkey Kong Land. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. As you can see, I'm still camping here. I haven't made it home yet. I'm still out in the wilderness, and, well, it's another absolutely gorgeous day. We talked about a bunch today. Feel free to discuss anything we talked about in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button. Check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate. Save your state.